Yachats.
Wait. Oh, no, that. Yachts.
Yachats, Oregon, which I had to look up how to pronounce before coming here. And even after watching a YouTube video, I'm still not convinced I'm saying it right. But this was just one of the first stops on our trip up the coast, and it ended up being one of those places that just stays with you. We came here with our two dogs, Molly and Buster, just looking for somewhere quiet. And Yachats just has this really calming feeling to it. Coming from LA, it almost feels too quiet at first, like you're waiting for a noise that never shows up or a zombie apocalypse. Who knows? But then after a little while, you realize that's kind of the best part. We stayed at the Adobe Resort, which is right on the ocean, like literally right on the cliffs. You can just look out and see the waves crashing below you. It's one of those views that doesn't really feel real, especially early in the morning or at sunset. We only stayed one night, but it ended up being one of those places that leaves a really big impression, like really quickly. One night, we walked down from the hotel to the rocky shoreline, and honestly, we couldn't see much, which was kind of creepy. It was mostly just darkness, rocks, and the sound of the ocean. But it was still really fun just being out there, really natural. The next morning is when everything looked completely different. The tide had gone out, and suddenly you could see all these tide pools and rocky areas that had been underwater the night before. And this was actually one of the first times that I had really seen a sea anemone, like in real life, up close. I'd seen them once before on a trip up the coast to Shell Beach in California, but I'd never seen so many of them all at once, just spread out everywhere on the rocks. I'd only really seen them up close in aquariums before. So seeing them out here just naturally in the tide pools was completely different. They were this bright green, almost glowing, and their bodies were covered in tiny rocks. Sometimes, not always, but at some of the locations. It really just didn't even feel real. Our dogs were loving it, just running around like they owned the place, Buster especially. But he was very confident for someone who does not like water at all. At one point, he ran through what he thought was just a small puddle, but it didn't end. It just kept going. And suddenly he had to swim to get back onto the rocks. He was literally digging, and he was putting in a lot of effort. He made it, but I don't think he'll ever trust puddles again. The rocks were covered in this really soft, light green moss or algae. It made everything look kind of dreamy. It was actually kind of cool. And when we left, the dogs left little paw prints behind on the rocks. And I got some photos because I just thought it was adorable. Just one of those small moments that sticks with you. We also stopped at Luna Sea Fish House, which was really good. We got fish tacos, wedge cut fries, shrimp cocktail, and a bottle of Pinot Gris. The shrimp were actually really small compared to what I'm used to in restaurants near us in LA, but everything tasted really fresh. And it was such a good meal after being out by the sea, ocean, sea, whatever you want to call it. We also found this rock and mineral shop in town, and I loved it. I got to go in all by myself because Yuri was out dog sitting, and I ended up getting a bunch of tumbled stones, some fossils, and a few raw uncut rocks. I think they might still be in his car. I feel like every time I go into a shop like that, I tell myself I'm just gonna look, and then I leave with a whole collection of rocks. The owner was really nice, and they had this huge fluffy white dog laying right at the entrance. He was either greeting people or just completely relaxed, which honestly fit the whole vibe of the place. This was also one of the places where I left my books. I left one just outside of town and another in a little free library right in the center. I always wonder who ends up finding them. The morning we left, everything was covered in a thick white fog. It felt like we were in a movie, or like the town was slowly disappearing behind us. Yachats just feels quiet. Did I say that right? Did I say Yachats right? Not in a boring way, but in a way that lets you actually notice things. It's definitely a place I would come back to 100%. Just 100%. If you've ever been here, or if you ever find one of my books, I'd love to hear about it. I'll be sharing more places from this trip along the coast of Oregon and California, so you can follow along if you want to see where I go next.
Yeah, this should have water shoes. You're right.
They have to.
Towel and water shoes. Molly's just gonna keep getting wet.
What?
We're gonna do this for 4 more days?
Yeah. I know, right?
You should probably put sunblock on.
Yeah. I have it on my face. This is the coolest. Hi, little anemone babies. You're everywhere. Molly, be careful. Don't hurt them.